There are many tools that we as parents and carers use as part of our care practice, but there are so many that we don't actually realise that we're using, and we just take them for granted. And one of those, one of the real main important tools that we use, is our voice. How we use it, the tone, the pitch, the volume, the message behind it. Chris Voss is an expert in the art of negotiation and language, and he worked for the FBI on hostage negotiations, so every word had the potential to make or break a deal, or in effect to save or lose a life. Chris Voss mentioned something that I heard Jurgen Klopp use in a recent interview, where Jurgen said that he was leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. And I want to play the Jurgen Klopp snippet to you now, just to give you the idea and for you to be thinking of what is going on about here. So have a listen to Jurgen, and then we'll carry on with Chris Voss on the return.
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season.
Okay, that was Jurgen Klopp. And now I want to play you something by Chris Voss, which is a downward inflecting voice, where it's declaring a statement but uses a downward, slow, soothing tone. And I always picture like a gentle waterfall in the garden, dripping into the pond, where it's going from one flat stone dropping to the next, onto the next, until the water eventually makes its way into the pond. Here's an example from Chris himself.
You did mention the late night FM DJ voice. What exactly do you mean by that?
It's calming, soothing voice.
Okay.
Which is downward inflecting. Women all the time are like, well, I don't have a deep voice. I can't do the late night FM DJ voice. Well, it's really about downward inflecting. In order to downward inflect, all you got to do is drop your chin when you talk. And you got a natural downward inflection. It's calming and soothing. It actually creates a neural change in the other person's brain. Neural is involuntary. Like, I can slow your brain down with the sound of my voice. You can fight it, but you can't stop me from starting the process. It's not a choice on your part. It's a great tone of voice when you're really firm on a term and an aspect of your business that you're just not going to change. And you need it to stick. You don't want the other person to feel backed into the corner. You don't want them to feel accused. You just want them to get it. Like in my company, since we do training, a lot of times where people give us a contract for training and they'll put a work for hire clause in. And we don't do work for hire. That gives up our intellectual property, ownership of it. And if it comes up, I just say we don't do work for hire.
Wow.
And I didn't make you feel backed into a corner on that, but you get the feeling without being accused that it ain't happening.
Chris admits that it's a great voice to use when you have something to throw out that's immovable. Now for him, in that example, it's more of a business negotiation or a hostage negotiation, where he's determined a contract that he's just not going to move on. And for us as carers, well, it could be more to do with the internet goes off at 10. Downward inflecting statement that's making a point. Now Chris also admits that it's the tone and the style that makes the other side feel that what you are saying is immovable. And let's hear again Jurgen say that sentence where you can now hopefully pick up that downward inflecting voice.
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season.
So that downward inflecting voice is useful in those situations where you're conveying a message, you don't want to be aggressive, you don't want to have any other meaning than this is how it is. And Chris says to use the downward inflecting analyst voice rarely, because it is going to slow the conversation down, but there are many other voices that you can use in your care practice that we will be covering. But this one, please remember it, yeah, the Chris Voss voice with the downward waterfall level voice.
Please click and subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the like button. We'll have many more videos coming your way.